it can help Malaysia to cushion some of the drop in the energy or increase the energy price. At the same time, also help our country to contribute to the world to make sure that they are using, I would say, clean
renewable
sources.
So this is just something that just will continue to repeat every year.
Is there already any interest from foreign companies who want to collaborate with our local?
Yes, actually, there will be a number of MOUs that will be announced and signed at the conference, and most of these involve foreign companies with Malaysian companies.
And that is in the area of products or
Yes,
setting up plants?
It's looking at some of them involve setting up plants. Actually, there was already an MOU in Sarawak that was signed over a year ago, which is looking at an investment in a bioethanol plant, and that involved an Italian company, Danish company, and a Sarawak-based company.
Okay, ada soalan lagi?
In terms of production, do you follow such a number of biomass to export to use it because there are interest from other countries, right?
Actually, if you look at the volume of biomass, just from palm oil alone, we produce 80 million tons of solid biomass. Further 60 million tons of what we call liquid biomass, which is the palm oil mill effluent. Now, the estimates that we made, first of all, there's no way we can use all the biomass for these new downstream industries. But just taking 5 or 6% of the solid biomass is sufficient to actually create new industries. We're talking about more than 10 to 15 of these huge plants, and you're not even going to utilize 5% of the biomass. So there are many uses for the biomass. So currently, a lot of it's being thrown back to the ground and used as fertilizer. If you're talking about palm oil biomass, some of it's being burned for fuel, the anti-food bunches. But we are not talking about using all the biomass, so that we're talking just using a small percentage. And the other thing as well, we talk about the palm oil mill effluent. We have something like 400 over palm oil mills in the country. Every one of those mills has the palm oil mill effluent. Most of the time it's sitting in the form of a pond, and this is generating gases. These gases can actually be captured and turned into methane gas that can then be turned into energy. And that is already progressing now, where there are these gas capture facilities being installed for these ponds, and typically, it's sufficient energy to generate something like 3 to 5 megawatts per a typical mill size. So, if we actually have all this installed, our carbon footprint also reduces, because the gas is being now, in many cases, released into the atmosphere. We can reduce our carbon footprint by 12% if we have all this installed around the country, and that is progressing now. And the energy as well that's generated from there can also be used from looking at rural electrification, looking at connection to the grid, looking at running the mills, and in some cases it also will free up the anti-food bunches and the other forms of biomass that's coming up. So really, there are huge opportunities for the country. Tim, did I miss anything?
No. Oh, but I think the key underlying idea for us in terms of promoting this industry is that Malaysian companies take up the challenge to go downstream. That's why a lot of the MOU signed is with international companies, with the local players. It's not something where we just promote FDIs to come to Malaysia and procure cheap biomass and then export it out. That's not the whole idea. The whole idea is they move downstream. Malaysian companies get the taste of value creation.
There's a chance for Malaysia to capture the downstream opportunities. If you look at the palm oil industry from the time that we started, if we at that time had started looking at the downstream opportunities, instead companies like Procter and Gamble and all that benefited a lot from using our palm oil, to make all the soaps and everything. But Malaysia has progressed a lot since then as well in the downstream opportunities. But now we are at the point where the technology is only developing in the last few years for these biochemicals, and there's an opportunity for us to actually take that jump and actually create this downstream industries with biomass that's actually being generated here.
Okay. Is that okay? Then start.
Yeah.
Then.
So by 2020, how much are we expected from this sector to contribute to our gross national?
Well, when we did our estimate about 3 years ago, we were looking at an estimate of about 30 billion contribution to GNI. Now, the pace of the development would very much depend on, to a certain extent, the price of oil as well. Because that affects the sentiment, the investment sentiment as well. So things may move a little slower, but we are certainly looking at that sort of number. Whether it materializes in 2020 or 1-2 years later, it remains to be seen. Because I think maybe we don't expect oil prices to be at this level the long term. But certainly when you talk about feasibilities and all that, the IRR numbers get affected by oil prices, because that in turn impacts the price of these biochemicals.
So 30 billion estimation.
Yes.
Safe to say that.
Now the exchange rate, I think, it's still.
Okay.
And a lot of sizable amount of that opportunity is actually in Sabah and Sarawak, as I mentioned.
Lagi? Alright. Ada, terima kasih banyak-banyak. Thank you very much for all our friends from media. Terima kasih Mr. Mark. Terima kasih Cik Abdullah Timothy apa?